We are here interviewing Cindy Parker, who is the principal at Mount Zion Elementary School in Carroll County. You will not see video of us, you will just hear the audio. Ms. Parker is a brand new principal here at Mount Zion Elementary School, so I'm hoping we can get a unique perspective as to what might be going on here at Mount Zion. All right, I'll just start with my first question. What specific issues does your school improvement plan address, would you say?
At-risk students in my subgroups, certainly the special ed group. It actually has grown this year.
The group has?
The group has grown. We've had a very large influx of special ed students in the first months of school. So we have been looking at specific programs or strategies to use for those students.
Okay. Who are the stakeholders involved in your school initiative?
Leadership team, my school council.
And who's on the school council?
It is a parent, it's two parents, a community business member, the AP, the assistant principal, myself, and a teacher. So there's 6 of us.
Okay. And how are they involved specifically? I know how your leadership team is probably involved, but the ones who are on your council, like the parent and the community member, what do they do specifically in the planning and in the implementation? And it may be very little.
Well, it is very little, but it's something different for them that they are not accustomed to. And it's a process that I used at the school I came from and found it to be very beneficial. So what I do is bring the school improvement plan to them at the beginning of the year after the leadership team has decided the changes that need to be made. I bring it to the school council and let them look over it and ask questions as parents to help put us on even ground, I guess, level ground with them, so that they can ask questions from a parent perspective, and it may be something that we didn't look at in that way.
So they're allowed to make comments that might then be modified into the plan.
Yes, they review it, especially the achievement pieces and what we're doing to address it, because what I see happen with them, and I see them getting better at doing that as time goes on, and they see that I'm really taking seriously what they say, is I want them to look at the steps that we're taking to address different issues, and then they will say to you, well, I don't know what this is, and it allows you to articulate it in parent ease, so to speak.
And do you think they're able then to talk to the other families?
I do.
Okay.
I do, yes. Which makes the plan more real to parents. It's more than just a document that the school has.
What are some of the specific strategies you're using, like with your at-risk children?
3rd, 4th, and 5th grade in reading, we are pulling small groups. I actually am very happy to say that I've worked with the university.
Good.
And we have 2 young ladies that come through the America Reads program. And they are pulling students and doing some repeated readings, and that strategy is something that the teachers selected. I honestly came in feeling like there was a lot of things going on, and it did not give us time to focus on one particular strategy or method, because we had a lot of things going on. And so the leadership team felt the same way, and we narrowed it down. And so when I had the tutors come in and told them that they were going to have small group, they were going to be able to select small groups for them to pull, I asked them what one strategy would you like for them to use for 6 weeks. Now in 6 weeks, if you're not happy with that strategy, we'll be glad to change it. But just know you better be happy with it for 6 weeks, because we're going to stick to it. And so they got to get Davey and the teachers got together in their teams, and they decided that's the strategy they wanted to use for the first 6 weeks.
Okay.
So they are pulling those reading students. We have since used our extended day monies, and instead of I'm accustomed to having teachers stay after and tutor with extended day money. Mount Zion is a different community, as you well know, and transportation is an issue for a lot of students. So we've hired somebody to come in during the day to use that money. And what we do is she pulls students from some of their exploratory classes, certainly not PE, and not art when we can help it. But the computer labs, sometimes they'll be pulled from there in small groups, and she's working with them on math, just basic facts, basic
Is this
math
a certified
facts.
teacher or?
Actually, she is. She is someone who graduated from the university back about a year ago, and she got caught in this time when there are no jobs. And so she is certified, so I'm very excited about that.
That's great. Now, what are you using to measure your success? What
In the
instruments?
repeated readings, well, actually in both areas, in the reading and the math, we're using STAR. That is an area that we also felt like there was a lot going on. They were doing county benchmarks. The school was requiring benchmarks of them. They were doing something called GRASP, that's out of the RESA, the RESA program, or the RESA. They were doing both STARS. On top of, they were doing a school-wide assessment weekly. I mean, it was just assess. And so that was another thing that we decided we needed to trim. And I let the leadership team talk to their teams, and I said, you know, they had a lot of computer programs that they were using to assess. So they narrowed that down, and that's what they decided on was the STAR. I feel like they may decide later on, maybe next year, that they want to go with something else, but I'm not sure. I just knew that if whatever we decided, we needed to stick with for a year.
And how did the STARS results correlate to the, like the CRCT? Is there any kind of correlation? Did you look at that?
Yes, the teachers actually did. They looked at content descriptors, and they looked at, they also used the OAS to decide if the STAR was close enough for them.
Right.
Nothing is perfect, and you're always going to find something wrong with it, and we had to kind of talk through that in the beginning to say, you know, you may not like this, but we're going to use something.
Right.
So you've got to decide what you can be happy with. They also, as teachers, I don't require this, but they use OAS. I do require them to use it. I don't require them to do anything with their data. They do, but they do that on their own.
And OAS is?
It's the online assessment system through the state.
Okay, I thought that's what you meant.
And they use it very heavily in the computer labs and in their classroom as well.
Okay.
But
and it's just essentially a bank of old CRCT questions.
That is exactly what it is. And the county requires us, of course, to do county benchmarks, and we're actually getting ready to look at that first round of data.
Okay. County bench. So you are still using the county benchmarking system because there's no choice in that.
That's right.
Okay. I'd be interested to see how all of these match with county benchmarks.
I'm very interested. We're actually going to review that data with them on Thursday.
Okay.
That's another, and that's a frustration for me, and as well as the teachers, with county benchmarks, because there's 26 schools doing some sort of benchmark. I'm assuming that is the issue. Sometimes you don't get the results as quickly as you'd like them.
Sure.
So, but they're working on
And
that.
how are they doing with the data? Manipulating use of data, that kind of
The
thing?
teachers. Okay.
It's hard.
It is very hard, but I don't think it's from lack of knowing. I think it's a time issue.
Right.
And so, as long as we pull them in, every Wednesday we do professional learning communities, and they just rotate through our data room. And so when they come in, they'll bring their laptops with them on Thursday this week. They'll bring their laptops with them. We will already have their data manipulated in the different groups that we want them in, but we'll also walk them through to allow them to manipulate it according to their flexible groups or what have you. So that's helpful.
Good.
To kind of keep them focused to make sure it gets done, because sometimes it won't.
It's hard.
It is.
Yeah. What are your major challenges, and how do you think those are being addressed?
As far as the school improvement plan, or just overall?
I would say school improvement plan.
I would say, I want to look right here. I would say the area of nationally competitive students. That would be the area that makes me the most nervous. I'll say that. Because you have to keep